there was sound. And the Lord said, "Let there be light," and the world was created. In the streets of London, a new religion is emerging, the techno-religion. The DJ, the shaman, the spiritual shepherd, the channel of energy leads the dancers on a sensory quest through an impressive mix of sounds. The high priest of London techno is Nick Sequency. The masses of believers from all the lost tribes of the earth gather, surrounded by the sounds of the computer. How does the motion on this dance floor differ from an ancient African or Indian rite? Today, as in the past, rhythm transports participants to a different reality in which there are no schisms. They become a single entity that pulses to the sound of one heart, one beat.
I'd always felt like an outcast, like an alien, like someone that didn't really belong here. I never actually felt that I belonged on this planet. From childhood, I always thought there's got to be some kind of a mistake. I'm in the wrong place, the wrong time, and I can't wait to get out of here. But when I first heard the techno music, it was a message saying, yes, I am in the right place, and now I'm being activated to reach my full potential. I started to meet people from all over the place who I felt like I recognised them. I felt like I knew them from somewhere else. And this was my first encounter with the paranormal, because there was no way that this could be true. There was nothing I had to identify this situation with. That, yeah, we know each other from other lifetimes, and in some way we're connected to the Grail mysteries, the lost tribe of Israel, and the manifestation of the kingdom of heaven.
Nick has a dream: to build the third temple in London. This sanctuary will be designed like an ice cream cone, with a dance hall in its center and an open roof, so that worshippers can see the sky and the stars. The heart of the temple will be an interactive audiovisual presentation, combining techno music, laser beams, kilometers of neon tubes, and carpets of mirrors and crystal. This will be the revelation of the millennium, at which believers will hear the sights and see the sounds.
This is one of London's largest nightclubs. It takes 1,750 people. In a sense, it's the beginning of the building of a temple. All these people gather together once a week to open all their chakras, release all their bad energy, and take in some good energy and put some healing energy into the planet. But I see this as the basis for actually building a purpose-built venue, a temple of light and sound. If you could have the sound spinning with one system in the middle of the room, spinning the opposite way, if you sequence through a computer the notes to the lights, then music would become visible.
Nick's mission is to find financing and support for his vision. He believes that the temple will be the culmination of the global sound revolution. The era of instrumental music has now come to a close, making way for the objective, computerized music of the new religion.
Most rock bands that don't use any computer-generated equipment, they sound out of time. The music sounds wrong. There's something missing from it. The intensity's not there, and it's not helping you to get into perfect time with the universe. After 7 or 8 years of only hearing computer-generated music, there's no chance that I can listen to music like that anymore, because it just grates against me. The only true religion is the religion that recognizes all other parts of all other religions as part of itself. When you take the whole of London and you draw a circle around all of the oldest worship sites, which are now churches, and then draw straight lines from one to the other, you end up with this geometrical pattern. The pentagram, the star of magic. Within this space is contained the Star of David, a cross, many pyramids, pyramid structures.
Legend tells us that after the destruction of the Second Temple, the gift of prophecy was bestowed upon fools. Perhaps only those who transcend the boundaries of logical thought could save the world from sinking in a deluge of information. Nick attempts to gather the lost tribes of mankind through a musical inspiration common to all. In everything and everywhere, he perceives the initial signs of redemption.
Two records from two completely different countries. I think that the people that design those pictures are seeing the same transformational shift that's going to take place at some stage in the future. I believe it's going to be 2012, so there seems to be some kind of unifying process going on the planet at the moment, where you can see black, white, Hindu, Christian, Jew, Chinese, Muslim, Buddhist, all in the same place dancing together without a care in the world. If music is actually a telepathic message that's being sent to you from another dimension through what we call inspiration, then two people on different parts of the globe can tap into the same kind of thought and create the same kind of track with the same emphasis on the same notes and the same kind of technology. And then you can hear it here in London and you can say, well, that record was made last week in Helsinki and this one was made in Tokyo, and yet they sound like they're made by the same people. The art of mixing two records together is something that hundreds and thousands of DJs right across the planet are getting into doing. What they're trying to do is to synchronize the two parts of their mind at the same time. So you start balancing up the left brain and the right brain to move into super consciousness, where you can distinguish two different things, two different conversations, two different arts at the same time, and create a balance in your brain. If you could create some kind of an image at the far end of the beam that was looked like infinity flying past you, how wonderful it would be. And then I thought, if you create a semicircle of screens and put the projectors coming from the back, then you'd have all the images visual from the front, and the laser tunnel would appear like some kind of sci-fi projector firing these images onto the screen, which would also look like the semicircular window of a spacecraft flying through the universe at very high speed.
Fraser Clark is one of the founding fathers of the spiritual side of the techno movement. It was essentially born as a kind of joke.
He told me, you've got to wear a Pope's hat, Fraser, you've got to wear a Pope's hat. I said, okay, Martin, if that's what it is, you know. So we got the girls with a stall. Remember those, we used to make those funny hats, so they made me this Pope's hat. So I'm walking about all night in this Pope's hat, not knowing, like everybody else, what's exactly going on, right? And suddenly he's got me up on the stage before 900 ravers. I'm in the Pope's hat, and I'm up in the microphone, and the lights are on me, and there's this expected thing, and I don't know, nobody knows what's supposed to be going on. So I said, I forgive you all your sins. All your sins are wiped clean as of this minute. You are free and you are clear, right? I mean, and I started off as a joke, you know, just playing it, and it became real. I mean, I got a tear in my eye, and I could see all these kids looking at me, and I'm forgiving their sins. It was a very powerful thing.
The 12 tribes of Israel. In this book, I found a book about Druids and the 7th tribe, and in their time, Chuan is an eagle. Well, the 7th tribe and the children of the goddess Dan, or Dana, or Chuathan Dadanan. This all points to me as the lost tribe, the tribe of Dan. I kind of find it difficult not to believe that the techno tribes are in some way connected to being the lost tribe. I wouldn't say that they're the only ones. I'd say that the lost tribe was so lost that it was scattered all over the world, and everywhere you can find traces of it.
If we're talking of the return of the tribe of Diana in particular, and the children of Diana, and Diana had 21 children in the mythologies, and that there is this 21 comets, 21 fragments of the comet, that in a symbolic sense, the actual returning, that maybe this was a fulfilling of the prophecy, and that these children of Diana are in fact, in normal scientific terms, lumps of meteorite. But to draw that into its symbolic conclusion, we are the ears and the eyes of planet Earth. As transcendence occurs, it's natural that planet Earth grows a kind of sensory organ, and that we are then the sensory. No, I've gone off there. I lost it.
There is no sharp boundary between gravity and frivolity. What began in jest and is still considered ludicrous by many may ultimately prove itself the sanest solution of all. In any case, on this planet, millions of people are leaping up and down at the same time to the same beat. This is electrotherapy for the globe, says Nick. The techno tribe does not sit around the same campfire, yet it remains united by the rituals it conducts throughout the world. Nick's ingathering of exiles is not geographic, but telepathic. Nick's close friend Ed has good connections in the music business. He set up a meeting for Nick with a sales promotion firm in an attempt to raise funds for the temple project.
Wembley Arena into a spaceship, or just this room here, using screens as the windows, and now you're sitting in the cockpit piloting this thing, seeing this journey, or someone else is piloting. Yeah. There's 4 guys that are doing computer graphics at the moment who are, well, they've designed all the fractal programs, and all the really famous fractal stuff has been done by them. And I've got a perception of it because I've had out-of-body experiences that showed me what I want to see on the graphics. Right. If you were open to understanding it, you'd want to understand it, and you'd be showing some receptivity for that, which you're not.
I'm asking you, that's what I'm doing now, I'm trying to find out.
Right.
You know what?
Yeah, I mean, basically, what this is saying is that London is destined to become the New Jerusalem at the end of time. And the Mayans have put in a date on the end of time, 2012. 17 years from now. and we'd start to pick up frequencies of sound. And as the advent of the computer rose, we'd learn about new sounds that became a mathematical, technological language of numerology, which is a magical language.
Well, that's what music is anyway.
Absolutely, you know that and I know that. Okay, so I need funding to put a party on, not to sell records. I'm not looking to sell records. That's not what I'm about at all. I don't want a record deal. That's not what I want. Yeah?
Well, that's what you should be looking for.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all. I would have done that years ago, and I've got the means of the people to do it. Now I need funding.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for, funding to make a visual project.
Well, first things first, you're a DJ, right? And you can't sort of suddenly flip from being DJ to film producer in one flip like that. It's a gradual process.
Nick is not disappointed. He understands that the world is still not ready to accept his revolutionary ideas. This doesn't faze him. He knows that the fate of his sacred enterprise has been sealed in advance by the stars, and that a higher power will make sure that it comes to fruition at the right time. The hard hearts of decision makers cannot suppress the vision of true prophets.
The project that I want to do needs funding so that Billy can sit down and spend many, many hours on putting a computer graphics movie together. In the meantime, we're getting a sample package together so that we can put on this one party and showcase the idea to different record companies, film companies, any potential investors. It's a whole experience that will eventually last 7 hours, and it'll take you through different dimensions to this as well, which will be based on the universe itself, and wow, that's incredible. These are all the Mayan gods of.
This is actually.
What is it?
It's the dream serpent.
Is it the dream serpents? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a Mayan guy sticking his head out of its mouth.
That's how all of these fantasy stories get written. They're writing about a place in time that does exist, that is in no time. It's an eternal moment. If you look at books like The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, or any of the Alice in Wonderland stories, or The Sleeping Beauty, or The Seven Dwarfs, all of these fairy tales contain a message of some kind. If you notice that the Sleeping Beauty, she kisses the toad to get the handsome prince. Is that fairy tale? I'm not sure, but anyway, there's the story of you kiss a toad to get a handsome prince, which is the hallucinogenic story of the DMT toad. If you look at most pictures of fairies and elves, they're around magic mushrooms.
Members of the Techno tribe believe that computer technology can spark the human spirit more than any book or concept, because the computer can hold an infinite quantity of information. One may input all human knowledge and obtain for the first time the sum total of absolute objective beauty. In this way, the true perspective of human existence will be revealed.
What I'm trying to accomplish is to bring out an appreciation of chaos, mathematics, pattern and order, which to me is something very basic to the nature of reality in the world. Now I really feel that this is the time in history where individuals are being empowered. It's the time for us all to act and make things happen and save the planet before it's too late.
It would appear that everyone everywhere that has felt lost at some time are being called home, and this is what being part of the Lost Tribe really means.
Many world leaders find it difficult to believe that the age of control is ending and the age of lights is taking its place, says Nick. Who is preparing the masses for this revolution? The government? The Pope? Television? No one.
I put him to sleep almost every day with techno music. When Daisy was pregnant with this child and the other child, every Saturday we would go out to techno parties, and either I'd be playing or the other DJ would be playing. But through the pregnancy, while the child was in the womb, it would hear techno music played at a very large velocity of sound, maybe 25, 50k, or very, very loud. So this would awaken the brain cells of the child while the child was in the womb. So now, when he hears techno music and he's tired, it sends him off into the same state of mind as being in the womb. And well, it works without fail within minutes every night of the week, and put him in bed.
Besides putting children to sleep, music can also work other miracles. It can grow bones within the human body, resurrect the dead. There are cosmic frequencies that can overthrow governments and tear down buildings. Joshua, who felled the walls of Jericho by sounding ram's horns, is perhaps proof that the techno spirit is eternal.
I have people coming up to me and saying they've experienced out-of-body states of mind, and people that have said they've had experience that were very similar to sexual orgasm, but it was a mind event, it was spiritual as opposed to physical.
Who knows what else may leap out at us from the futuristic streets of London? Dreadzone is a leading British techno group. Don Letts considers his innovative music as a spiritual link for the generations to come.
This on the front of my bass drum. It was on MTV the other day. This is on the front of my bass drum. Religion, in its many forms, is all equal. At the same time, is my belief that faith, rather than just beliefs, pure belief systems, is what's going to further the planet. Just pure faith.
The word Zion, if you lexigram it, you come up with in Oz, like the land of Oz. Another word that's interesting to lexigram is Omega. A mega game, go Om.
Close to your ancestors. Follow the old road, and as you walk,
There are more ways than one
think of them.
to approach your ancestors. Getting in touch with the past, getting in touch with the eternal, the infinite, something that's always there, that's always been there, that always will be there. Something timeless. I mean, there are certain times that is a real inspiration and a real boon. So you can just jump out of reality.
Yeah, I'll be there.
But saying all this, I think one of the most important things in the fight, the good mental fight, is humour. A good laugh.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing. We shouldn't all take ourselves too seriously. And so I'm just going to do the dusting.
Shakespeare said that a man in his time plays many parts and all the world is a stage, and God must have a sense of humour, or whatever form of life it was that created us must have a sense of humour, otherwise we wouldn't have one. And that's the missing sense. Humour and love are the two missing senses from the 5 senses of the body. There are 7.